This is the status of the panic hammy, or hammy and panic, whatever, of the Tri-County Technical College procedure on, what is it called? Coronavirus. Nobody has made a decision, okay? Now, there are some departments that are telling their instructors to try to do, let me see if that's a Skype in.
To do a practice
That they can try to do e-learning. Tri-County Tech trying to do e-learning. Try to do e-learning on Thursday and Friday. I guess they're going to hold their posters up and somebody take a picture of them and send it to y'all. I don't know how they're going to do it. But they're going to do that. Now, some teachers have said that. Let me ask Pendleton. Has any of your teachers said anything?
This morning, my public speaking teacher said that on Friday, well, because we do our class, like if we do anything online, it's usually through like Launchpad, not Blackboard necessarily. So if we do something, it's through that.
So they're going to experiment Friday is what they're going to do.
No, because we've like used it before when he's had to be absent, but like our e-learning day practice thing is on Friday.
Okay, so you have one. What are your other teachers doing?
Only in 2 classes right now.
Okay.
Until next
How about
semester.
anybody else at Pendleton? Has any of your classes done anything? Said anything?
All my classes doing it.
Doing what? My site.
Again?
E-learning days on this Thursday or
I
Friday.
got like
Mine's
classes,
on Friday.
so mine is doing it.
I only have 2 other classes.
Maybe, I don't know.
Tomorrow.
Okay, the guy at the back. What did he say?
I said all my classes are doing it on Friday.
Okay. Well, good luck with that, because we had one dean where there was a meeting like Monday or Tuesday, and the president said, well, what do y'all think about trying to do it Thursday and Friday? Or Friday, I can't remember. And one of the deans said it's going to be a total cluster blank. Okay? He said, because I know of 2 teachers on all the campuses that could do it.
Yeah.
That leaves 300 teachers that don't know how to do it. So, I don't know. Y'all,
Well,
I
it'll
don't
be
know where
weird
this
for
going.
the classes that like have to have a lecture, like
Yeah,
or a
we have
lab.
lecture and a
Like
lab on
it's so
Thursday.
hard to learn like biology or chemistry online without like.
Well, that's why they need to be doing what I'm doing, but they won't. I mean, they could actually record, and that's what I'm going to tell y'all. I told y'all Monday, but I'm going to do it. How about Oconee? What did they say up there? Anything?
My class Friday is e-learning.
Okay.
Mine
What
went
about
before this one.
Peasley?
I'm all online besides this one class.
Okay. All right. Well, as I said in my email, I will keep doing what I'm doing. Okay. Mr. Yap, Mr. Yap, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He just texted me and said, I'm going to be Skyping in. I pulled him in. Boom. That's all there is to it. Now, you can either Skype in or you can not Skype in and you can watch the video. But I'm going to teach the material that I usually teach, and then where will I put it? I'll put it on YouTube and you can watch it. The thing is, if you Skype in while I'm doing because I'll probably be doing it from here, because I told the president called me and said, I mean, he didn't call me, he emailed me. He said, how are you going to do it if we say no classes? I said, I'm going to teach here. I'm going to do my material on the board here in AC 137, and I'm going to record it, and I'm going to put it on YouTube. He said, okay. I said, do not fix it to where we have to do it from home, because that's going to be like pouring gas on fire, because half these teachers don't even know how to turn on, how to Skype, much less if you try to get them to do it from home. I said, you're going to have to try to do as much as you can, teachers from the campuses, because the technology is there. They just don't know how to use it. I said, if you try to do this at home with the teacher, it's not going to work. It's going to be a total cluster. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, I'm going to present whether I have one student Skype in or no student Skype in. I'm going to present the material. I'm going to put it on. That way you can watch the videos at home and you can continue doing your what? Homework and your what? Test. And all I care about at the end of the semester is what? Your homework and your what? That's it. So that last week of class, I'll be talking about when the test is. I'll be talking about how I assign the final exam, same way I do so if you want to learn about that stuff, and if we don't come back or whatever, it will be on the videos. So don't be emailing me 2 or 3 days before the last week of class asking me about the final, because I'm going to go over it in the videos. Okay? Anybody got any questions on how we're going to do things? I'm going to do things. Anybody got a question about that? Okay? So, after class today, everybody needs to run around in circles, panicking, and go buy toilet paper and water, and run in the ditch when you're on your way home. Because that's what you're supposed to do in South Carolina. You're supposed to panic when there's no need for panic. So stupid. I have nursing friends, and they're just laughing.
Yeah.
They're laughing because 20,000 people have been, more than 20,000, they say between 20 and 30,000, has died due to the flu virus. Okay? Between October of 2019 and today. Over 20,000 people. We've lost 12 in the United States to the coronavirus.
And it's all
Jeffrey
like
Dahmer ate more than 12 people. And we're having conniptions about the coronavirus.
It's all because of the media.
That's exactly what it is. The media is doing it because of other reasons, and I'm not going to get into the other reasons.
Why
But
not?
they don't want somebody looking
It's
to
the
them.
government.
Let me just say that.
election year.
They want somebody to look bad. That's all I'm going to say. And they don't care who they hurt. They don't care how bad it makes everybody. They want the economy to tank. And this is how you can do it. You can't impeach somebody. You can't set them up for Russian collusion. So you have to do this.
This is new to America.
Just
The
crazy.
coronavirus has been around for I don't know how long. But it came out of China, and they just love to oblige screwing us up. Especially since we're wanting them to have fair trade. How dare we?
It'll run its course.
Okay, I need to shut up. Now, let's get back to, where did we leave off? I told you to tell me where we left off. And y'all didn't write it down, did you?
Random sampling.
Thank you. You know what? I believe y'all got symptoms of corona.
We're just really
I'm a
committed to
doctor
our.
now. I'm a doctor. Let's see. What 12 is 12.1?
Yes, sir.
And let me go ahead and pull up 12.2 just in case. Since we're all going to die. Somebody got mad at me for saying that.
Before we die.
Are we
Right.
not
We're
all
gonna die. Can you
one
just
day?
give us A's?
On math.
I didn't say we were going to die because of certain. I just said we're all going to die.
I just really wanted math to be the last thing I do before I died.
There you go, girl. That's the
That's our
attitude.
favorite
That's
class.
a good attitude.
Is
Specifically
Specifically this.
All right, so let me get to, you said random sample. Okay, I think we talked about the Post-it notes, right? We talked about that. You know, pink Post-it note versus I believe I was talking about neutrality, wasn't I? Okay, here we go. Okay, we'll talk about neutrality. Okay, a random sample is everybody has the same chance of being what? Picked. Okay? And we talked about the Post-it notes versus the pink Post-it notes. The next best thing to a random sample is a simple random sample. And a simple random sample, instead of giving each one of you a Post-it note, I give you one Post-it note, and I group these three together and those three together, and I give this group a Post-it note, and they say Group A, and then I give this one a Post-it note, and they say Group B, and I give Easley Campus a Post-it note and say Group C, and I give Pendleton a Post-it note and say Group D, and then I give Oconee Post-it note and it says Group E. Okay, and I don't know why everybody's on their laptop. I haven't told anybody to do anything yet. So y'all should be writing this down. Okay, it's starting to bother me how many people play on their laptops while I'm, especially when you're supposed to be writing things down. So anyway, the simple random sample is groups have the same chance of being what? Picked. Groups. So, and that's not on here, but simple random sample is when groups have the same chance of being picked. And they don't show simple random sample. I don't know why, but in most of your probability courses, you will see simple random sample. And the difference between a simple random sample and a random sample is individual, simple random sample is groups. The third best way to do a sample is systematic. Let's say I ask a survey question for every 10th person that walks out of this building. And if I stand at the front door, and every 10th person, I ask them a survey question. That would be a systematic. What is another word for systematic? Can anybody just think of systematic? Can anybody think of a synonym for systematic? Pattern. Expected. In other words, predictable. Why? Because I said I'm going to pick every what? 10th person. So you know without a shadow of a doubt that I'm going to pick every 10th person. That's a pattern. Okay? It is something that is methodical. It is something that is predictable. So that's, well, why would you use a systematic? To save the two most important things in our life. And what is that? Time and money. So instead of picking 300 people, I would just do like every 10th person, and that would be 30 people. Capiche? Now, why should you be writing these down? Because these are test questions, and they are also standardized test questions. So if you take an employment, especially, and right now, if you take an employment, let's say you go to Michelin or BMW, and you put in an application, and you have to take a standardized test, all of these questions will be on there because this is quality assurance. And quality assurance is at every plant. So all of this stuff that you're talking about will be on the test. A cluster sample. I like to just give you an example of a cluster sample. You know what an example of a cluster sample is? A voting precinct. Write that down. A voting precinct. Why? Because everybody in that area is told to go to one place to vote. They can't go to 5 or 6 places. No, that's Democrats. I'm sorry. They can't go to 5 or 6 places. You have to go to one place to vote. Okay? That's called a cluster sample. So if I wanted to go to, mine is Green Pond A, I think. And I go to McLeese. Okay, we call it McLeese. But we go to McLeese School, and I stand outside of McLeese School, and I say, you know, I ask each one coming out, do you do this? Do you do this? Did you vote for this person because of this? Did you? That would be a cluster sample. And let's say I did it all day, and I got 500 surveys. Then my cluster sample is 500. N is equal to 500. That would be a cluster sample. A stratified sample would be breaking a cluster sample into what? Subgroups. So stratified puts subgroups. So if I took that cluster sample and broke it up into Republican or Democrat, or if I broke it up into male and female, or if I broke it up into below 25 and above 25, then I've turned it into a what? A stratified sample. Capiche?
Yes.
Now, they're not going to ask you about stratified too much, but they're going to ask you about random. Because what does quality assurance do? If they want to see if something's defective, they go to, what's it called, shipping, and they go through and they open up a crate and they pick what? One out. And then they go to another crate and they pick another one. That's called random what? Sampling. Quality assurance director, that's what they do. Convenience, this is the worst one. Give you an example of convenience. And I'm going to tell you right now, y'all don't see me teaching very much right now. Whenever you're in probability and statistics, write this down. The first 2 units, or the first 2 sections, is nothing but reading and vocabulary. That's why we're doing this. If I was teaching you 120 right now, I would tell you to read chapter 1 and 2, and in 2 weeks we'll start math, because we have to go over all these definitions. So convenience sample, let's say that I worked at a 80s rock station. I was a DJ for 80s rock. Next to the 60s, that's the best music genre. I don't care what you say, because in the 90s and 2000s, they didn't have music. I don't know what the hell they had, but they didn't have music. I don't care what anybody says. Next to the 60s, the 80s was the best music. Anyway, I work at an 80s, and I call out, and I'm taking a nighttime probability course, and I've got to do a project, and I've got to do a statistics project. So I say, and it's due tomorrow. So I'm working the night before, and I say, okay, I need everybody out there that's listening to me right now, call in right now and tell me what kind of music you like. What's wrong with that?
I'll listen to your station.
And they all like what?
The type of music you
80s
play.
rock.
Yeah.
They all like 80s rock. So why is a convenience sample the least accurate? Because you're usually doing it in a what? In a biased situation? Are you doing it in a hurry? Or are you just playing LAD? Lazy attitude disorder. So put an X through convenience sampling, because that's not what you want to use. Okay? I mean, know what it is, but like put an X through it and say least accurate. Every 20th, when you see those words right there, what should you say to yourself? Every 20th, every 5th, every 100th. Systematic, because you got a system, you got a method, you got a pattern. So that would be, and this is what they would give you on a test. Identify the sampling technique, and they would give you that right there. A $50 gift certificate is given away at the annual bankers convention. Tickets are placed in a bin, and the tickets are mixed up. Then the winning ticket is selected by a blindfolded person. That's the Post-it notes. What is that? Random. Now, what if I grouped everybody up by what table they were sitting at? That would be simple random sample. And I'd say table A, table B, table C, and I'd put that in a bowl. Then that would be simple random sample. Children in a large city are classified based on the neighborhood school they attend. A random sample of 5 schools is selected. All the children from each selected school are included. That would be a cluster. Voting precinct. Doesn't that sound like a voting precinct? A random sample, a neighborhood school they attend. It didn't say by what? By gender. Now, if it said by gender, then it would be stratified. And blah, 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 asked if they support an increase in taxes to support a zoo expansion. The first 50 people. Sounds like it. Yep. And what's wrong with this? You don't do that. Who are the first 50 people going to be going into a zoo? No, who likes to go to the zoo? Kids or adults?
Kids.
So most of your first 50 people are going to be going to be kids jumping in line. So you're going to interview a kid on, are they in the Marlboro Club or not? So that's why convenience samples are no good. No good. Now, can you make a convenience sample good? Yes. But the whole point, a lot of people use convenience samples is because they're either in a hurry or they're lazy. All registered vehicles, blah, 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 blah. Subcompact, compact, male, female. What is this?
Right.
Stratified.
Stratified.
So make sure you know those. Many individuals, businesses, and advertising firms misuse. There's lies, damn lies, and what? Statistics. Who said it?
Easily.
Mark Twain.
Mark Twain. So when you're on Jeopardy one day and you're fixing to win $1 million, and they say, who said the following quote? You're going to give me half the money. All right? There. Because, now, do you see this today? Do you see misuse of statistics today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, hell to the yeah. In fact, the biggest one I've seen in the last few years was during the Republican primary in 2016. And I'll tell you what happened. And it was the Republican primary, so I'm not talking bad about Democrats. But what happened was Donald Trump had won all of the primaries so far. Okay? And the elite Republican Party said, oh no, we can't let this happen. So what they did, Jeb Bush had already failed. I mean, he was a failure. So they'd already gave up on Jeb Bush. So they had to get a new guy to beat up Trump. And what they did is right before the second Republican debate, and out of the blue, there was this poll, just everybody covered in the media, and it had, who do you think will be the next, or will be the Republican nominee? 78% said Cruz, Ted Cruz. Okay, 78%, and to this point, there was not a single poll putting any of the Republican nominees over Trump. None. Okay? He was winning the polls like 27%, 32%, and there was so many. How many were in the Republican? Like 17 people? There were 17 people, so it was low percentages. So, and down at the bottom of the poll, is national poll, national, N is equal to 100, and 5.6 margin of error. Now, what was that poll? It was called, write this down, it's called a subjective poll. What is a subjective poll? Can anybody tell me what a subjective poll is? Anybody?
You.
Exactly. A subjective poll is a skewed poll to influence people or the audience or whatever you want to call it, okay? Have they been used in the past? Oh, yeah. Thank you, I appreciate that. They have been used in the past. Now, what's wrong with that poll? Well, first of all, a national poll, if you're going to do a national poll, are you going to interview 100 people? No. Last time I checked, I think the United States has 350 million people in it. I don't think you're going to just poll 100 people. What else? The margin of error was 5.5 points. Anything over 3% is not worth the paper it's written on. But how many of you, or how many of America, would look at the bottom of the poll and see n is equal to 100? Nobody. And he won. That was the night before the second presidential debate, or the third, and of course didn't work because he went ahead and became the nominee. But the whole point is, are they doing the same thing to Bernie? Yes, they're doing the same thing to Bernie because they don't want Bernie to be the nominee. So they're trying to do that too. So anyway, a subjective poll is a misuse of what? Statistics. Okay, we're going to talk about some more, and you'll see it done in graphics a lot. Graphics, you know, like in the media where they put a chart and they make it, you know, make it all pretty and everything. But that's where you see the biggest misuse of statistics, with graphics. Was the sample used to gather this to get unbiased and sufficient size? N. Always look at N on a poll. Is a statistical statement. Would you ask somebody this question? You're not going to vote for John Smith, are you? Or would you ask this question? Will you vote for blank or blank in the next election? Which one would you ask? The first one or the second one on the survey?
Second.
Why? It's unbiased. I don't say you're not going to vote for. That's bias. You can't. And if you ever get into a research / environment, you will be told how to do surveys and taught how to do surveys. Your questions has to be right down to what? Right down the middle. They cannot have any positive spin on them. They cannot have any negative spin on them. They have to be right down the middle, neutral. So anytime somebody asks you a question, how many of y'all have gotten robocalls asking you survey questions? Oh, I love mine. Oh, I love when they call my house. I love it. I just wait for them to call. They hang up on me most of the time. One called, hi, my name is so-and-so, so-and-so, and I'm with the Warren campaign. And they said, who are you going to vote for? And I told them who I was going to vote for, and I said it in a very enthusiastic way. Click, they hung up on me. So, you know, I thought that was funny. You can't do that, though. You can't be negative or positive when you're doing research. 4 out of 5 dentists recommend sugarless gum for their patients who chew gum. Well, they forgot to tell you that there was 200 dentists that were given the survey and only 5 responded. Did everybody get that? Mm-hmm. They asked 200 and only 5 responded. So they used the 5 and said 4 out of 5 recommended sugarless gum. Okay? The sample size could have been 200. There it goes. 1 out of 100 recommended gum at all. So that's a good example of, you know, how people can misuse statistics. In an advertisement for golf balls, a driver golf ball is hit and another brand golf ball is hit in the same what? Manner. Now, this is where anybody that plays golf, there's only a few people in the world that can hit the ball in the same manner, and they're probably the greatest of all time. Jack Nicklaus, Arnie Palmer, Tiger Woods. Okay? How easy is it to hit a golf ball in the same manner?
Very difficult.
Very difficult. The only way you could do this, if you took the human out and put a what?
Robot.
A robot. Y'all think that's funny? Y'all ever seen the bowling robot? You ain't
Oh,
never
it's
seen
a
the bowling
strike?
robot?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
it's
let's
been-
take a break. Let's go and look up the bowling robot, since we're all going to die anyway. Bowling robot.
We're all gonna die anyway.
Bowling robot.
Why is he still?
There he is. Oh, please don't call. There we go.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, I don't need all that. I don't need all that music. Shut the hell up. Okay, that's not what I wanted to show you. What I wanted to show you is there's a video, and it might be this one. I don't know. I don't think it is. But it shows the robot doing it like 10 times. Let's see if this Let's see if this is it.
The ball.
Doesn't even touch the alley.
Anyway, there's a video, and it does it. And does it do it every single time like that? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's the only way that you could do a similar thing with the golf ball, because that robot only knows 2 or 3 movements. Okay, now I'm showing you that because I'm trying to, show you what I'm talking about with the similar. Okay, I'll shut up. All right, so same manner. It doesn't say if it's a robot, so if it's not a robot, it's assumed to be a person. We are told that the driver golf ball travels farther, and we are supposed to conclude that the driver golf ball. The only way I would believe that is if you put a robot in there. Tiger Woods, well, I'm not going to say Arnold Palmer anymore because I think he died, didn't he? And, Jack Nicklaus is still alive, but he can't hit a ball like he used to. And there's a couple of new guys that are pretty good. But the whole point is you have to have something with consistency. So I would not believe that.
That's why they tell you, like, with the experiments, it has to be, like, you have to be able to test it in the same, like, way.
Exactly. It has to be the same way every time. The advertisement does not mention the number of times the experiment was previously performed or the results of the earlier experiments. I don't believe you can do that one. That's like possible sources of bias include wind speed. Where's human error? That no 2 swings are what? Identical. The ball may land on a rough or smooth surface. Y'all ever seen? No, I might as well forget it. Y'all ever seen Tim Cup? No, it's not Marvel Comics. So, Tin Cup drive contest. I doubt it's. Yeah, here it is. I hope it doesn't have cussing, but anyway. Well, okay. First of all, those of you having a conniption, we're gonna probably stop after this. Okay, so I'm gonna show this, and then y'all can start having convulsions. Okay.
Well, I bet you $1,000 against my car that I can beat you in any game. Any game, you name it, with a golf club. Boy, this is ridiculous. What are you, chicken?
Okay, we're gonna fast forward it since y'all are having convulsions already.
What are you got? 7-iron, Roy. 1 swing each. Whoever gets it the longest.
What did he say? He said whoever hits it the what? Longest. He didn't say farthest. He just said longest.
7-iron like John Davis is 3. Winner, winner, chicken dinner! Let's take my beer, Kurt. Thank you. Right here, okay? Fine with me.
You guys are really being childish.
Leave this one to me, darling. I know what I'm doing, too.
He sounds like he's drunk.
I'll see you both. Bye.
So he hits the ball. And he hits it 225, which with a 3, with a 7-iron, that's dang good. So Mr. What's his name?
Take his number up. I don't need to. Oh, yeah, take your jacket off. No, I'm fine. You're gonna have to muscle up, big guy, to get it out there. Can I give it to you?
So what does he do? He hits it down the paved road. And he just won himself a Cadillac. Still going.
Still go.
It's a good movie. It doesn't have him flying through the air and all that crazy stuff, but it's a good movie.
You man, boy.
Anyway, there's never two identical swings, and when you hit the ball, you don't know what. If it's going to hit a piece of clay on the ground, or if it's going to hit the golf cart path. So, okay, we'll stop there because somebody's going to die if we don't hurry up and get out.
I thought we were all going
Does
to die.
anybody have symptoms of flu? We need to ask that because I'm a doctor.
You're going to diagnose us now?
Yeah, I'm going to diagnose everybody. Everybody stand in the line.